For nearly a decade, City have operated without a fit, senior and natural left-back. That void has been filled, successfully, by midfielders, right-backs and centre-backs. But given the current construct of City's squad and Guardiola's likely tactical plans for next season, signing an offensive specialist left-back was essential. The arrival of Rayan Aït-Nouri is long overdue, but after watching this video, you'll understand why the wait was worth it. He has the potential to unlock City's left-sided stars, the intelligence to reshape the team's tactical structure, and the tools to establish himself as the Premier League's most exciting fullback. Now, I said fullback, and that's true, but Ait-Nouri has often played as a left wing-back for Wolves, such is his offensive capacity. This is excellent news for City, as we seem to be building a squad where width primarily comes from the fullbacks. It's therefore essential those players can contribute offensively, not just in terms of build-up, but with genuine output, chance creation, goals, and final third quality. One of City's biggest attacking weaknesses in recent seasons has been the lack of consistent crossing threat from that left side of defence. Ait-Nouri fixes that immediately. He's a plug-and-play solution, a natural wide outlet who thrives in those situations. What stands out most about his crossing, and what I love, is the lack of hesitation. He doesn't require 2 or 3 touches to make up his mind. He already has a picture in his head before the ball even reaches him. That kind of decisiveness catches defences off guard and provides his teammates with a higher likelihood of connecting with the ball, as does his creative range. I've seen him create chances with whipped ground crosses and near-post cutbacks, perfect for City's box crashes, lofted deliveries to the far post, ideal for Haaland, and even early balls into the box while the defence is in disarray. The variety, the speed, and the intent, that's exactly what City have been missing, and this is reflected in his assist numbers, where he ranks second in the Premier League compared to other fullbacks. He's able to deliver those balls with real aggression, but also the right weight. They're driven, but not overhit, and while his left foot is far superior, his inverted crosses can be a decent weapon. If you look at Ait-Nouri's data in a vacuum, specifically crossing volume and accuracy, it makes for underwhelming reading. He doesn't rank particularly high compared to other Premier League fullbacks. But remember, he played for Wolves, a team that averaged less than 50% possession per game. Naturally, he had fewer opportunities to get forward and deliver crosses, and fewer targets when he did. But the landscape at City is completely different. He'll see far more of the ball and he'll have far more bodies to hit in the box. Most teams defend deep against City by packing the middle while sacrificing the wings. That strategy worked when City had centre-backs filling in at left-back, but that becomes a much riskier game plan when there's a genuine attacking threat. With Ait-Nouri, City finally have a natural left-sided player who can exploit that space and punish teams for giving it to him. Ait-Nouri isn't just a vertical threat, though he is excellent in that regard. He uses his pace and long strides to sprint to the byline and get a cross in. But what makes him really special is that he's also a horizontal threat. He's a tenacious ball carrier and dribbler, brilliant at driving into the box from wide areas. In fact, he ranks in the top 8% of fullbacks for carries into the penalty area. That allows him to create much more dangerous cutback opportunities or even carve out shooting chances for himself. There aren't many true dual-pronged threats at left-back, but Ait-Nouri is one of them. He's comfortable dribbling vertically down the line, but is just as effective darting inside. That's partly thanks to his relatively strong weak foot, which makes him an unpredictable dribbler in the final third. He ranks in the top 2% for take-ons attempted and the top 3% for successful take-ons among fullbacks across Europe's top 5 leagues. And it's not just in the final third where his dribbling shines. It's a valuable tool in build-up play too, whether that's breaking through a press or progressing up the pitch from his own defensive third. This is where his physical profile comes into play. While he's not an elite level athlete, he's quick, and he's what I describe as a limsy dribbler. Often it won't look like he's in complete control, yet he glides past players and eats up space with those long strides. He can burst past players and through defensive lines, thanks to that combination of pace and guile. We'll cover his off-ball traits in more depth later, but it's worth noting that his pace also plays a big role out of possession. At City, he'll be stationed high up the pitch, far from his defensive position when the ball is lost. But crucially, when the ball is turned over, he's got the speed to recover well. That kind of recovery pace is an invaluable defensive asset, especially in a high possession system. And another priceless aspect of his physical profile is he's almost never injured. Given City's defensive injury crisis last season, that kind of reliability is worth its weight in gold. Ait-Nouri's general passing and on-ball composure will also serve him well at City. There's a reason he's been labelled as one of the most technical left-backs in the world, and that technical ability gives Guardiola something he always looks for: tactical fluidity and flexibility. We've already seen a glimpse of that at City. Against Juventus, Ait-Nouri regularly rotated with Doku, drifting into central areas while Doku held the width. That kind of movement and comfort in central areas is only possible because of his technical assurance, and it paid dividends as Ait-Nouri, from a more central zone, set up Doku for the opening goal. He didn't explicitly invert into midfield for Wolves like he did in that City game, but he often found himself in narrower positions, not constantly as a pure touchline fullback, but someone comfortable operating in the half spaces. That versatility opens up tactical solutions all over the pitch, and is the reason why I titled this video the way I did. Off the ball, he'll naturally slot in at left back, freeing Guardiola to play as a more traditional left centre-back, which is a big net positive in itself. But on the ball, in what I hope will be City's setup next season, Ait-Nouri can hold the width on the left, giving space to Doku or Marmoush to operate inside and even rotate. That's crucial. Doku has often been left isolated with no supporting runs, and Marmoush can't function effectively off the left without a teammate providing width. Ait-Nouri can fix that, as he's more than happy to provide intelligent overlapping and underlapping runs. Given everything I've said so far regarding his technical excellence, you shouldn't be surprised when I say that Ait-Nouri, for a defender, is a legitimate goal threat. Among all Premier League fullbacks and wingbacks last season, he scored the 5th most goals and took the 6th most shots. You'll also notice Guardiola was even higher on those lists, but now that he's almost certainly moving from left back to centre back, those numbers will plummet. Someone had to replace that output, and thankfully, Ait-Nouri has demonstrated he's a decent source of goals. But one of the biggest talking points when Ait-Nouri was linked with City was his defending. Specifically, his inability to defend, frailty in challenges, and the fact he would expose City's already vulnerable defence. Let's unpack that briefly. Firstly, Wolves are a team who spend most of their time without the ball. Their backline defends deeper and faces far more duels than most teams in the Premier League. At the other end of the spectrum, you have City, a possession-dominant side which defends with the ball, controls the game, and consequently engages in far fewer direct defensive actions. So just moving to a team like City helps Ait-Nouri in that regard, regardless of whether he's a defensive liability or not. But is he that liability? Well, let's play a game. I've plotted this graph comparing defensive duel success rate against defensive duels won per 90, based on last season. The dotted lines are the median averages, and I've included a handful of fullbacks from Europe's top 5 leagues for comparison. The top right corner is reserved for those players who win a lot of duels and win them often. So here's the game. You have to guess. Where is can't defend Ait-Nouri? Maybe near Trent Alexander-Arnold, someone who's below average for duel success and often criticised defensively? Nope. He's right there, comfortably above average and in the good zone. Not elite by any means, but a far cry from liability territory. He wins defensive duels at a 65% success rate, and he actually engages in more of them than the average Premier League fullback. So in terms of 1v1 defending, he's good. In fact, he's had many games where he's kept some of the league's best wingers quiet. I'm not saying he's at a Nathan Ake level defensively, he'll still get spun or beaten from time to time, but the myth that he can't defend is a myth. And there are more strings to his defensive bow. He's a proactive defender, aggressive, front-footed in the tackle, and happy to step out and engage high up the pitch. If City's potential new shape for next season is to succeed, the fullbacks will be crucial to the press. They must be able to effectively step up and jump aggressively to stop the ball progressing. Otherwise, the whole structure can be bypassed far too easily. Ait-Nouri seems tailor-made for this. His forceful style could be essential to making that pressing system work, and that ability to jump, coupled with his pace and long legs, makes him naturally suited to winning loose balls. There are problem areas though. For one, despite being fairly tall for a fullback at 5'11", Ait-Nouri is inconsistent in the air. His overall aerial duel win rate is below average, and inside his own box, it's just poor. He wins 1 in 3. That's not good enough. He can get caught out at the far post, and if that doesn't improve, it could become a reliable source of chances for opposition teams. Then there's his positioning. I'm not going to overanalyze in respect of rest defense. He's often positioned really high, but that's clearly by design. He's tasked with pushing up the pitch, so obviously he'll get caught out there. That'll happen at City too, especially if he's used as an on-ball winger. But in settled defensive phases, when the team is set, his positioning can be questionable. That's where he's at his weakest defensively. It's something that needs to be ironed out if he's going to develop into a complete defender at City. There's also a fair argument to be made about systems. It's generally easier to defend in a back 5 than a back 4. You've got more cover, more support, a bit more license to be aggressive. And Ait-Nouri mostly played as a wing-back last season in a back 5. At City, he'll be operating in a back 4, which means more responsibility and potentially more exposure. That's a valid concern, but everything I've discussed, the strengths and the weaknesses, still hold true. The context changes, but the fundamentals of his game remain the same. Ait-Nouri is clearly not a defensive wall like Ake, and he's not a specialist defender. But football is about platforming your players for success, covering their weaknesses, maximizing their strengths. So the key question is this: do his defensive flaws outweigh what he offers going forward? I'd argue they don't. Yes, he might get exposed now and then, especially against Europe's best right-sided attackers, but if he can replicate the attacking output he showed at Wolves while staying defensively competent, that's a trade-off worth making. This has honestly been one of the most straightforward analysis videos I've made, because the signing just makes sense. His traits suit City, the fit is obvious, and there's nothing particularly controversial about the move. He's a left-back, and he'll play at left-back. Hopefully City can do the same on their right side. The era of City centre-backs at full-back appears to be behind us. It was the right system at the right time, but Guardiola has always favoured offensive full-backs, whether that be Dani Alves, David Alaba, or a prime Kyle Walker. Ait-Nouri feels like one of those sensible signings. I don't think he's going to reach the quality levels of a Cherki or Reinders, and I'm not convinced he'll ever become a true world-class fullback. But he's a very good player, and one who could easily develop into a great one. Someone who becomes a key cog in a title-challenging City side. And when you consider how long City have gone without a proper, specialist left-back, maybe that's all that's needed. Sometimes the best, most transformative signings aren't the most exciting or glamorous. Sometimes the best thing you can do is not overcomplicate things. And that's exactly what Ait-Nouri represents. Thank you all for watching. If you've made it this far into the video, confuse everyone who didn't by dropping a Croatia flag in the comments. That's where I'm on holiday right now. As always, thank you so much for your support, and a special shout out to my hardcore channel members Tony, Spartacus, Silver Splits the Blue, Ethan Larios, and Austin King.